This is episode number 19 with Anna from DingsDums Dumplings.
Hey fellow Berlin enthusiasts, welcome to the Green Me podcast. This is where I go out and chat to Berlin's coolest creators, founders and free spirits of all those unique eco-minded projects in the capital. I do my very best to extract their stories, secrets and passions to help you get lots and lots of inspiration of what you can do and experience in this magical city and how we can all shake the world a little bit. Super glad to have you with me on this journey. Now let's go green in this urban jungle and remember, always be prepared to be amazed.
Welcome, my friends, to the Green Me podcast, where we bring you some brave, inspiring people who make change happen and show you that every one of us has the power to do so too. Now, the topic of food waste, or better, anti-food waste, has popped up a lot in my life lately. And I'm so grateful that apart from all the daunting numbers of how much food is being wasted, it mainly came up with a positive solution in town, usually in the form of a dedicated group of people who tackles this issue without waiting until governments or the big players out there do something. They just have an epiphany and a deep inner drive that there's just too much food waste and we gotta do something about it. Bam! That's exactly what happened to today's interview guest and her co-founders. And I'm so excited that we finally make this interview happen with Anna from DingsDums Dumplings. A little disclaimer right at the start. When we recorded this episode, it's been a boiling sunny day. So we decided to grab some Fritz Cola crates and sit outside in the backyard. Which turned out not to be the best idea when it comes to sounds and noises. So hope you forgive us the occasional dog bark and rattles and feel with us that we needed some fresh air. Now, saving food alone is great, but then there's the question what to do with all these 5 million tons of edible food that us Germans throw away each year. How to turn them into something that's tasty and extends its shelf life even further. Together, the three young founders, Jillian, Mao, and Anna, found a way to make it happen. As DingsDums Dumplings, they're creating super delicious dumplings from surplus food. In this interview, we went really deep and also digged into the whole thought process and trial and error that happened before the actual DingsDums Dumplings came out. We also talked about the moment that triggered the three to quit their jobs and decided to do something about food waste, how important it is to focus on the core thing, which is a strong product that looks great and tastes delicious, how to deal with non-believers in your environment and proving them all wrong. Anna also shares one thing she's most proud of at the moment and who or what inspired her most on the way. We talk about her secrets to overcome challenges and always stay motivated. We shed light on how Jillian creates new recipes on the spot over and over again, and also exchange some great founders lessons, like how to be in for the long game, why it's important to surround yourself with the right people, and the power of starting small and convincing the big players. Finally, we also chat about the meaning of being awarded by the federal government and some big future plans of DingsDums Dumplings, for example, to conquer the supermarkets. And of course, heaps of more personal anecdotes and insights. So I hope you're ready for an episode that leaves you inspired and hungry for more. Before we dig in, I'm sending a quick shout out to our friends at Book It Green, who support us in making this episode happen and generally in getting people excited about greener ways of traveling. You all know I'm a strong believer in the power of travel for good and think that connecting across cultures and borders is key to building a kind, compassionate and caring global community. At the same time, we have to be super mindful about our footprint, of course. Book It Green is an online platform, a startup from Berlin, that makes it easy to find and book sustainable accommodations. And I'm not talking about a real plaza that reuses towels or rainwater or something like that. It's really great places and usually not part of a big multinational chain. The goal is to bring together all the accommodations that do the right thing and offer exactly what mindful travelers are looking for, without having to compromise a bit. You can find tons of beautiful hotels, B&Bs and lodges in places like Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, Germany, Austria and Switzerland. I'm sure there's more to come soon. What I love is that they don't see Book It Green just as a platform for super eco-minded people, but for every traveler who wants to enjoy exploring our beautiful planet and at the same time giving something back to it. Plus, there's an awesome dedicated team behind it who really cares. So go check them out at bookitgreen.com. Now, we're not gonna mess about anymore. Without any further ado, here's Anna from DingsDums Dumplings. What's up, everyone? It's another hot Berlin summer day, and I'm sitting here with Anna from DingsDums Dumplings. So good to have you on the show today. How's it going?
Yeah, pretty good. Just a little bit hot, as you mentioned, but besides that, pretty well.
Yeah, finally, we make it happen. I think we've been talking about this since a year or so, since we first met. We always chatted and started geeking out about sustainability and what's possible and social entrepreneurship. And we were like, let's make a podcast. Yeah. But now it's the day, so I'm really happy. As I said, we met last year, July, I think, and you were throwing an amazing catering for one of our first circular economy tours. And everyone was super impressed what tasty, colorful, innovative food creations you brought out to us, like really plate after plate. And now, 1 year later, we're sitting in your very own store or Imbiss restaurant in Basing-Kreuzberg, right near the famous Görlitzer Park. So really well done. What you create out of high quality food that otherwise would have been thrown away is something that I find so genius, fun, delicious, and of course it tackles a super hot global issue, food waste, but with a sneaky twinkle in the eye. And really, each time I tell anyone about you on our Keat stores or just friends, their eyes just get so big and they just really love your concept. And I can't wait because I know you'll have some really great stories to share, so let's jump in. Can you remember what really triggered that moment where you decided to quit your jobs and say, you know what, we're going to do something about that bloody food waste now?
Yeah, I just figured that there's a higher thing I should put my time into, and I realized that I used to throw a lot of food away at my own place, and I was really fed up with that, and I really wanted to do something against it. So I was just jumping in the issue and like talking to friends about it, and then I was like, okay, I have a genius idea, let's do a food waste app. So this is how it all got kicked off. And and then I asked Mao, who's also now one of our founders, and asked him if he wants to join the idea. And then we just like thought about it and thought, okay, there is a bigger issue actually in the supermarkets already. So we tried to find a solution for that. So this was actually the moment where it really started taking off.
Really cool. And how did you first get in touch with the whole topic of food waste? I mean, have you always been like a super eco person, or how did you actually learn about it?
Absolutely not, I have to admit. I was just like, as I told, fed up with throwing so much food away because I didn't know what to do with it, or like what is the expiration date, what does it say, can I still eat it? It's just like these, I never used to like the senses. I was just like, okay, there's a date on it, okay, I have to throw it away. True. So actually I was not really into the topic at all. So we just started out and like having a look like how much supermarkets throw away, like how many people throw away just because there's a date on it. And that's how we just slowly started picking up speed with this and really diving into the topic and thinking about solutions, how we can change it. And this is just private interest basically.
Right. Yeah. I think also last year, basically when you started, it was last year, right? That you started last year?
Actually, the idea kicked off in 2016 in October. So it's like almost 2 years now.
Nearly 2 years now.
When we said, okay, we have to put all our time into this and quit our jobs just with no backup, kind of like just jumping in. And then the year after, in 2017, in June, I think, we found it the whole company, and also had already caterings also with you guys.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that was really also a time, at least for me, for my awareness, where really this whole topic became really big, or it started to just reach people, especially here in Berlin. You were mentioning that you first wanted to start a food, like an anti-food waste app. I know back then I was actually talking to Meal Saver. Back then they were still Meal Saver, and then I think you also did an event with them where you already had your dumplings. Actually,
Yes.
was it kind of you saw, oh, actually there's already all these apps out there, and let's just do something different, or?
No, not really. It just like was a really intense technical thing that we planned on doing.
Yeah.
It was like kind of this Zu gut für die Tonne app, but it's just like a little bit more fun to it. Like you could share your fridge with your neighbors, and then you can match like recipes, and then you can cook together. Kind of like Tinder for food. So you meet people over the app with like their leftovers. But it was such a technical issue, because then you have to have like these recipes and all this. So we thought like let's do something a little bit smaller and start out with that. First it became even bigger than the app.
Yeah.
Having like we planned like on logistics that were so time and money intense, and super big containers where we could store everything. And after a while we were like, okay, this is way too big, and it's like also price wise it's not something that makes sense, because it was like kind of like HelloFresh with recipes, but then you have to ship it every second day, so it was not profitable.
Okay.
So we kind of put that aside before we found this genius idea.
Yeah, so it's all kind of a bit like trial and error and just figuring out different ideas and everything. But then, so how did you actually get to the idea to make exactly the dumplings?
Yeah, as I mentioned, like we were at like a dead point and we didn't know what to do. We were like super disappointed. We put so much effort in this we worked on this idea for half a year.
Wow.
Already. And we were like, okay, now we have to kick off somehow, like something, or we could just look for another job. And then Jillian, who is like our cook now, she also experimented at the time with dumplings. So she tried all kind of different fillings, because she said that like a lot of people don't try food anymore, like Blutwurst, blood sausage.
Yeah, so, black pudding.
Black pudding.
Yeah.
People don't try it anymore.
Yeah, true.
But maybe it's super tasty for them, but it's just like the form, how it looks like, they don't really
it's not very
appreciate
appealing.
it. Yeah. And so she said like when you eat Asian dumplings, you don't know what it's inside actually most of the time, and you don't want to know maybe.
Yeah.
And so you can just put something different in it and like make it a little bit more interesting. Also like small bites, you can just try and share and like have a discussion about it and talk about food, you know. And then she just tried it out. We did like together Bratwurst and sauerkraut.
Yeah.
And the other one with black pudding.
Yeah.
And with apple and onions roasted. So it was really delicious. And
it's so cool.
And it kind of was our like the moment where we said, okay, maybe just like put both ideas together, because she wanted to open a restaurant in the future sometime. So now it's like came a little bit earlier, the future. And we just said, okay, just put both ideas together and make something incredible.
It's really genius. Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about the creations itself a little bit later. But one thing that really interests me as well is, so how did it actually go down, like with your parents or your friends, your environment, to that you quit your marketing jobs and just go with this idea? Like, did they think you're crazy, or did they kind of support it, or
Little bit of both. When I first started talking at my old company or with friends, at the beginning they were like, yeah, there's not so much food waste. Where do you get your food from? Doesn't make any sense. You know, it's something that, or some people said something that really doesn't touch me. I mean, some people doesn't touch it, but in the future will be a big problem. Yeah. And they're not looking ahead the outlook, you know. And that was kind of interesting, and that kind of kept me going, actually. Just like, okay, I've proven wrong. There's so much we could do, and just start something small, because when we started out, it's like really important. It was not for us a trend. It was not like, oh, dumplings, a lot of people like it. It was just like our solution. So it was not something that was really popular, you know? And that's the reason why we did it. And like all these features, all these things that we learned are kind of like a plus to the whole idea. Like that it's small bites, that you don't throw so much away. It's like everything just came all along to the idea and made it even better. And my parents were very supportive, but they already know that I just like do, like kind of jump in things, and sometimes it's not a good idea. Often it's a good idea. So yeah, she was like really supportive, my mom, and
Awesome.
that was really nice. And also after a while, when we like had this concept and people tried it, because a lot of people, I don't know what to expect. It's something unknown, you know, and because nobody tried it before, or it's like, I mean, in New York, they maybe have restaurants where they have this super crazy fusion stuff, or like in different spots, but I haven't found one place in Berlin that's like changes so often the menu, and like is really so diverse. So that's why you have to convince them a little bit, and after they tried, they were like, okay, good idea.
That's
so
really cool.
that was kind of cool to see like the doubt like fading.
Awesome. This sounds really good. I mean, for me, it's always like this. I mean, it's so funny that they said, oh, I guess there is not enough food waste, because we both know the numbers are very different. And what I really love about starting a conversation about this whole topic is that in sustainability, the talk is always a lot about what's lacking, but actually we're living in abundance in our world. There's so much out there. It's just not spread or shared or treated in the right way.
Yeah, I mean, like I think the biggest issue is that it's not cool yet.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you talk to people, they were like, oh, probably even like with clothes, oh, they look stupid, or it's like boring, or like grandmas would wear it. Still has the stigma to it.
Yeah.
And this is also what we wanted to break, to prove that you can be sustainable and also have the comfort in our restaurant, like to have like the normal experience of a normal restaurant, and you don't have to think about it, but you're still doing something good. And also the plates and everything is like recycled or bamboos or PET bottles or something, has to do with the topic. So you can show also people there's like even more than food, like can have like the whole lifestyle with no
Totally.
lack.
Yeah, totally. I think it starts with something. For many people, for example, it starts with food. They tap into it, and then from there, suddenly you get in touch with all these other things, and you start thinking further. And I mean, what I think what you are doing extremely well is kind of making this rock, making this cool. No? I really love your sense of humor. It's really spot on, and in the whole way you actually communicate, which I think is so important to actually grab people, especially young people, and get them excited. And I mean, is this something that you knew you had to do to make it work, or?
Not really. I think we are like all three of us, we're out of this media world kind of.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do something like this in the future, like being fun with stuff. You know, and when I was working before at some agencies, I was always with a twinkle in the eye, you know, it's like always like having a fun approach to things. And I think you have to turn it into something positive to like reach people, and not always going like in this negative direction. That was always like when you go super negative, then you have like also negative behavior sometimes to things. And I think if you go positive and funny on, like, people will share it, you know, like you share, of course you also share negative stuff on social media and stuff, but it's like like also these funny things, like people share, they want to have stickers, then they just like think about the stuff. And I think it's really important to be fun about that, because in the past it was always this grandma topic.
Yeah.
Or like
grandma,
or it's like your mother telling you don't do this.
Telling off, exactly. And no one wants to hear this. No one wants to be involved with this. But if it's fun and like it has so much value to it in all kind of senses, then everyone wants to jump in and like be involved. I mean, there's nothing better than that. Now we have to actually shed light on the name DingsDums Dumplings and what it stands for, especially for our English-speaking listeners, because it's actually a really cool story.
Maybe some of you already know Dingsbums. It's a German expression for something unknown. You can really grab it. It's like you just can't think of the word maybe right now. So this is one approach of this, and dim sum is the other one. It's like small bites. It's like a Chinese name, and it's like also like kind of like tapas style. It's like wraps the whole idea and the whole concept in one, 2 words. And and also our dumplings are called dings. This like things. It's like when in German you say something. What's his name? It's like dings. It's like his name. Then you also say it. And I think like we, under this topic, DingsDums Dumplings, we have like a assumption from all around the world. It's like combined. It's like not one specific kind of dumpling, because every nation has their own dumplings.
True.
And it's like a combination of all of them. And that's why we have a new creation of dumplings, and it's called Dings.
Yeah, right. And I mean, this is awesome, and I really want to like jump into like what's actually in the dumplings already, give the food in a sec, but also just to mention what I really also think what makes this whole thing work is that you guys have this really strong just do it mentality. You never really ran a restaurant before, you all had computer jobs, and you didn't fuss around with forever with building like a fancy website. You just started and it's rolling, and you just do your thing or your things. And I mean, this is I think something that can be really powerful.
Absolutely. We just like have really a strong focus on the whole food waste topic. So we kind of found like we have to make our product really strong. We have to go over the taste. We have to make like a fun restaurant where people want to hang out, and really focus on the core thing. And the good thing is we don't have any investors. So nobody's telling us you have to do this now. No, this communication isn't right. So we can do it and decide everything by ourselves. But we are also, of course, the ones who get in trouble when we fail. But I mean, to have it like the power to really create your own thing and really be the only person who can like change stuff, that was really important to us. Yeah, and that's why we also like are in Berlin right now. We don't try to grow like super fast. Yeah, it's like just like have an organic thing going on. I really think this is a great way to do it. I'm really on this myself, like instead of always thinking how to scale and how to make just bigger and so on, it just makes so much more sense to really get to know what you're actually doing there, and to be in for the long game and not just like do something very quick and then the core has to be strong. Yeah. And if the core is not strong enough, then you fail. And this is like really important to us. It's also really important that we are always here, that we can also answer questions for the customers. Yeah. And also are super open to new ways to approach things. There is not one way to do it. There is a lot of ways, and you just have to find the right way for you. Yeah. It's really important, and you have to always think if it doesn't feel right, then maybe you have to change something, and don't like just because other people did it like this, that you just remain on doing it like other people do it. Just focus on yourself, and really, even if people say, I don't think it's a great idea, and you are really strong belief that this is like how you should do it, then just do it. Absolutely. Bam. I really agree with this. Like thinking about what you actually made happen through this mentality and through this mindset, what is one thing that you're most proud of at the moment? One thing I'm really proud of is like actually the most important thing is I have to have a good team. Mm-hmm. And to have a good team spirit, and this is what I'm mostly proud of actually, that we like it's been rough at the start and also in between, but it's like when it comes to working together we always pull on one string. It's like it would not be possible any of this if not everybody is like focused. And also like sometimes things fail because of people don't get along, and every time like when we're fighting or we're discussing, it's always that we come to one point and then we're not mad at each other. It's just like being in this working thing, you like have different ideas but you figure it out and you don't go home and you're angry at the person. I think that's really important, and that we're constantly working on this to even improve it, because I don't want that it fails just because we're not strong enough together. Yeah, I think that's the most thing I'm really proud of.
Oh, that's really nice. Really, really nice. I think, yes, I mean, the people you surround yourself with, be it your team or mentors or just generally people around you, it's so important, especially in a passion and purpose-driven business. That this is all kind of set and it's giving you energy and not pulling your energy, I think.
Absolutely. And then it's also like the one who's watching out for you is like family. It's really like this, and it has to be like this. And we're really work intensely strong together. Like we're all the time together. It feels almost like we're all siblings because two of them are siblings. But I think it's really important that also like you surround yourself always just with people who give you energy and like just cut the bullshit.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I want to dig a little bit deeper into what makes your dumplings so unique. And I mean, first of all, I know that the food or the ingredients partly comes from Surplus, Germany's first supermarket or platform selling only surplus food. We did an episode with Raphael Femme as well, such an inspiring guy. I think you've been partners right from the start, right?
Yes. Even when before we had the dumpling idea, we contacted them or were in contact with them. They didn't have the store. I think they didn't even have the kickoff yet from their first campaign because we catered for this.
Nice.
So we even have contact before when we had this HelloFresh box food idea. And they asked us if we can do a catering for them. Cool. So we just did that for free and gave out food at their crowdfunding kickoff.
Right.
And that was really nice. So we became instant friends also, like always checking how the others are doing and inspiring each other and helping. It's really nice to have like being in such a great community. It's when you come from a different angle of startup, is like more technical focus, is like really a different mentality, and going into the foodie anti-food waste directions, really everybody's welcoming you with warmth.
That's awesome.
And so nice.
That's awesome. I mean, there we are again with surrounding yourself with the right people, right? Was Raphael also kind of like a mentor or something for you generally, or was it kind of like a two-side, like between the projects, what you just said, that it's kind of all feeding each other?
Yeah, it's kind of like this. We really focus on our idea and then just try to find really a connection where we can both have a good impact on each other. We try always to be there when they have like events and support them. We share on Facebook, Insta, also when they do something great, and we think it's like a super nice idea what they had, and we're really proud of them that they opened their second store and now even are in Markthalle. So
exactly.
The third store.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool to hear what they already reached.
Yeah, and I mean, like speaking of like inspiration or like other people or mentors, are there any special people or any books even, or any resources or something that really moved you or that really inspired you?
What really inspired me at the really start, when I was still working at my old job, was like one app they did. And because I'm like a web designer and also did apps, there was one app when I did research, they chipped a tiger in Asia, and you could see them on the app where he's like walking, and you can connect your Runtastic app with that app, and you could run against the tiger.
Oh wow.
And if you're faster, or if you go more miles than the tiger, then you win. So you did something good for yourself because you walked the whole day. When you do less, you donate money for the tiger.
Okay.
And I thought it was such an inspiring idea that you I didn't know that I could do something else than e-commerce with my talent, let's say, or what I do for in general for work. That I was so moved, and I was like, okay, there's something more I could do. It's just I cannot sit here and just sell stuff to people, so I have to really do something, and this is what really did inspire me. And for DingsDums is on the social media account, I manage it, and I just follow really cool blogs and people. And it's not so much about the people; it's much more what I see on the feed. What's something new. I don't care who's posting stuff. Just for me, it's the post important, and and I really like strolling through that in the morning. It's my first thing to do, and finding new things. For instance, new wrapping methods, for packaging, because it's really important to us to have new to-go stuff that is 100% compostable and still has the feature is not dripping everything. The sauce is dripping
I guess it's
through.
a little challenge,
It's super challenging, and also for myself, to improve myself. I still want to have the comfort in normal things, but also to figure out, they have a new cup for to go, or they have straws, or I don't know, just new innovative things, and really that's what inspires me. Also cool events for picking up trash or
there's quite a lot happening in Berlin.
There's a ton happening right now. It's super nice. And also other restaurants, what they do is, for instance, on the beaches, you get a coffee for free if they pick up trash bags or stuff on the beach. For one bucket they get one coffee for free, and I think that's a nice.
Really good.
That are nice ideas, and maybe we can implement this somehow. Because we also try to give something back. Of course, we cannot do a ton yet, because we also started, and we have to feed
You're
ourselves.
doing a lot already. Don't play it down.
We have to feed some time ourselves as well. But we also, when we did our first event here, when we opened the store, the half of it we donated, and the people could pick to what, and we donated to the animal shelter.
Oh, nice.
So it's small things we could do, but it's still in different, to make it fun for people to do something great, and that they have fun while doing it, and maybe we can get also something nice back from that.
Yeah, I really believe in that, actually. That this is something that I think is really beautiful in this whole scene, is that a lot of people are actually, you start something that really matters to you, but also essentially to the planet in a way. But we're not doing this from this really scarcity perspective, from this we don't have enough. Even when you just start, and even if you don't have much, for us it's the same with GreenMe. We just really also want to give away also to other projects and support other projects. And I had the experience that since when you really start doing this, then a lot of things actually come back. So It's really, once you release this, then it's really coming back.
It keeps on coming. It's like a boomerang.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, one thing that inspires me a lot is how you actually create all the recipes for the dumplings. I mean, there's such a super high level of creativity, as you quite often don't actually really know what you get, right? I mean, it's kind of constantly reinventing it, and you never know what's gonna be on the menu on the next day or so.
Yeah, sometimes for me it's even a surprise. Jeanne is really perfect in this. When she's at home, I open the fridge, I see okay, we have to order food. We don't have anything left, and she created this insane dishes from nothing. And I was always super surprised, and this is what happens in the restaurant as well. She's getting a call, this and this is left, want to pick it up, and she's creating these intense recipes, and with a lot of love and creativity. And as we are 3 crazy foodies, we also like try and we're like, hey, maybe you can do this with that. And she's also following a lot of food blogs and experimenting with things. Also for something super new because she's not a learned cook. And also like not into this sustainability thing at the start, and just like tried new things and just be open-minded. This is like the whole thing about food anyway. You have to be open-minded. Don't say you don't like it, just try it.
Absolutely. And I think, I mean, still a lot of them are pretty much handmade, right?
Yeah.
So I know that Mao told me actually about your new little treasure, the dumpling making machine from China, which will probably change your lives.
But it will change it quite a bit. No. The thing is like, it's still important that like the taste and the flavor and everything is nice and it's like still a fun product.
Yeah.
But in the other way, you have to think of if you have a machine that is like helping you a little bit, it's just like giving us more time to save more food and to also go a little bit bigger. Yeah. It's like not going super big, but just like having events that we have to feed more people. And for our first opening, we had to fold like 2,500 dumplings.
Oh my God.
And we were like there for a week folding. So and like 4 people. So if you can like take this down a little bit, that's great.
Absolutely.
So it's still handmade and we love them still. But also for caterings, we of course do like different kinds and like striped ones or other crazy combinations. But the fillings are still the same. So nothing's changing actually, just like that we can be focused on more.
Which I think is like a really good step. And I mean, for the caterings, it's really, I mean, you've catered for us as well. And I mean, it's so creative, like they're colorful, sometimes they're red, like color with beetroot or something like this. And it just looks like a little gourmet dumpling, actually, that always really excited me. And I mean, it's also really great for events that you can actually be super zero waste, even if you don't know, maybe there's a few less people coming or so to the events, because of actually another big team member of yours, which is the freezer, right?
I call it our treasure. No, it's great because actually like how we do it is, even if like the next day something expires, we cook them in and then we wrap that in dough and then we shock frost them. So it's a frozen good. So it's like
perfect.
So we can store them 3 to 4 months in our freezer. And when people tell us, hey, we have a change in plans or less people coming, then we just either we go to the event with less or the other way around. It's like people can have them and store them and then make them by themselves. But because this is something we want also to focus on in the future, people can have takeaway, but with frozen. And because we have like a small instruction paper, digital of course, and then we send the people and then they can just cook that by themselves. It's super easy, 10 minutes, it's all done.
I think this is such a good idea. And I know like on the last tour actually where we stopped by, there was one guy who lived pretty locally and he was already like, oh my God, I finally know where I can just get my food. I can just, he was super excited about the idea that he can just pick up the frozen dumplings and then make them up at home. I think there's also bigger plans with that, right? So I think you guys told me that potentially that could be that you conquer the supermarkets.
Yeah, that would be great. Right? That would be amazing. Don't know which supermarkets yet and like how this is possible, but we're working on it.
Yeah.
We just try to focus right now on making it easy for people to take them like for takeaway already, like come to our store and buy them, and then just like to experiment with packaging. It's a big issue. If you want to ship them, then it's like so much waste, and this is like we really hope that in the future a lot of people conquer this issue to have really biodegradable goods or reusable things that is comfortable to use and also good for the environment.
Yeah, I think there's a lot happening actually in that field, and I also hope that it's happening sooner rather than later. But let's see what the future brings.
Yeah, I think like also like big companies, they have to rethink things. Yeah. Because I went to Internorga in Hamburg, and there was like Coca-Cola and Nestle talking about sustainability, and I was like, oh my God. But I mean, for them it's maybe it's just a trend, but I think if you like in the small start something, if you have like these small ideas that are super genius, like a lot of people want to jump also into the topic.
Yeah.
Because for them it's about the money, and I mean they save money when they find a better solution for it.
Yeah.
And I think even when they think about like they save money, it's better and people like it, then they maybe also switch and they find a better solution for it, and they have the money to change it. That's the thing. Like we can start changing it in the small, but if like bigger people pick it up, it's like also even better for the environment and for everybody.
I absolutely agree. I always say this. I mean, of course, there's lots of like really evil companies out there, but also we also need the big players to change. And I think exactly the same, that small startups and just passionate people are seeding those ideas, and then they have to reach the masses. And at the moment, of course, we also still like need those big corporations. I mean, in the ideal world, big corporations don't exist at all, and we just like make all our thing, and it's just already nice. But the reality is a bit different. But yeah, I think really the driving force is that more and more people actually get brave and just get courageous, and by just like you guys just doing something and realizing that we don't have to necessarily wait for the politicians and for the big ones to change first. We can actually be the ones who started. And I mean, you also you achieved something really amazing. You won the Bundespreis, so good für die Tonne. It's kind of like a federal prize, too good for the bin if you translate it literally. Do you feel that the city and like the politicians or so are getting more alert?
It's a tough question. It's a really tricky one as well. I think they want to change. I think there's always a drive, but this is what I'm saying, like just bigger corporations, they really have to go into the topic and really rethink. Yeah. Because like if they just buy different companies and make them also evil, it's not good.
No,
you know?
Not at all.
But I think when they politicians also see the bigger companies also stretch the issue and really want to do something against it, I think they're even more keen on like changing things.
True.
So I think this year is, and the next year, these are the years where it really something is. I have the feeling something is really changing, because also with the straws and all this.
True.
Yeah, I think also because you have this prize and you raise awareness. Yeah. And people come in our restaurant and see this, that we have this prize. It's also like something, I always say something legit. It's like,
totally.
It's like, for us, it's like, I can still believe it. I mean, for us, nothing changes actually, but it's like, when you just like think about it, it's like really incredible. Something is such a high, you always kind of look up to government. It's like, it's like something big.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like something, it's like still, it's like a big thing. And you're like, okay, they said you do something right. And it's like crazy.
It's amazing. They know DingsDums Dumplings, and they said you are gonna win this prize. I mean, I think this is a huge sign, and like just like congratulations, like on this.
Thanks so much.
Well done. Yeah, I mean, as you just said, like I also feel there's something rumbling and something in the making there. And I think, like, I mean, just switching maybe to Berlin a little bit, the zero waste movement here, it really has kicked off, and is over the last 2 years or so. Do you have any explanation or any theory why it kicked off here in Berlin, or why this is so strong here?
I have no idea, but I think it's like a big city. There's a lot of different people and a lot of people. Here's a lot of creativity, and on the one side there are people like who were like students before, and now they have the big jobs, and they kind of were already into the theme, and now they're like buying bio foods and going to farmers. And I think it's always like a little bit, we came so far with technology, they just have the urge to go a little bit back again, like to go back to the roots.
True.
And I think this is the reason why, and also like because of the internet. I mean, like a lot of people know now about things and they can inform themselves. Some people are still like, I don't want to look, I don't care. Always happens. Yeah. But I think also because they're fun projects. There's a cool places you can go. Easter coffee, for instance. You would never think it's like zero waste coffee, and you still have the full experience. And it's not such nice people. And this is like what we have to do. We have to make it mainstream. It has
Yeah.
to be, there's no other way. Like, you can go to Starbucks, but it's not so nice if you go to a different coffee place. You know, it's like a lot of new products came to life, not because they wanted to, I don't know, like they just want to be the best. Actually, they just want to have, like, you don't have to buy Coca-Cola anymore. You know, it's like there's so many different products that are even better. You
Exactly.
know? And
Exactly.
this is also like burger places. Before there was just one burger place. Now there are like a ton burger places, and I think Berlin is the city where you can like start your dream.
Yeah.
Because the rents are, it's okay, they get higher, but still, like, you can live and you have still insurance and everything. I think this is a big plus here, and there's a lot of motivation going on, and you can just like be free. It's still a place where you can be that and be yourself.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I have like so much the same feelings and all the things that you actually said, like especially also like talking about the cool projects, that it's not a trade-off anymore now that you want to be sustainable. It's actually cool, and sometimes even better because everyone focuses on, I mean, always better of course, but everyone focuses really on the taste or the look, or that it's just a really, really great product, and not in the first place promote it, oh, this is sustainable, so you have to buy it because it is sustainable. So I think also Isa coffee, what you just mentioned, is also just such a great example. I mean, you actually, I mean, sometimes I think maybe they could write it somewhere also, so that but of course it also starts a conversation for people. But they're doing so many great things to really be zero waste cafe and so creative, and but they don't want to over market it, because they say, hey, we want everyone to come in here and not just this one.
This is the thing. So this is the thing. We don't like, we want to invite everyone. It's a product for everyone, and we don't want to exclude someone who's like a little bit skeptical. This is why we also don't mention it. It's like, if you tell them after, they're more surprised. And we don't want to be the anti-food waste restaurant. We want to be DingsDums Dumplings. It's like, we want to be unique, and we just found a solution for it. But now it's like really focus on the taste. If nobody likes it, nobody's going to like buying, oh, they're so sustainable. You know, but it's not great food. You know, nobody comes to our place anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think you're doing this like super well. It's just, it rocks. It tastes good. It just like ticks all the boxes. I'm so glad that you're here and that you made all this happen. Yeah. Before we jump to our final section, how can people best connect with you?
Best, of course, if they come to the store, because we can have a little chat and like I tell them a little bit about it and they can ask questions. But of course, social media, like we're really active on social media, and we try to really also answer all the questions. Or also can write an email. That's also not a problem. So everything located on our Facebook page or Instagram.
Awesome. I'll also throw it all into the show notes, of course, all the contacts and connections. So yeah, that people can connect with you and chat and get excited about saving the world through stopping food waste. All right. So now there's a few things that I always ask all of my interview guests. It's just 4 really simple questions. No. So the first one is, what's one of your biggest learnings or aha moments since you started DingsDums?
Oh God, there are so many. Yeah, I mean, like, I think the one learning is like, sometimes you just focus on yourself, and then you just like try to do like your thing, but actually if you like work together, you can achieve so much more. I think this is like my personal aha learning, because I'm always like a person who wants like just, I have this vision, I want to do this, but if you like integrate more people and you have like a really strong working relationship, I think there's even something greater coming out of this. I think this is one of my aha moments.
100%. I can so agree with this as scientist. I mean, I've always been someone also like, okay, this is how I want to do things and everything. But especially in the last few months or so, I'm just so extremely grateful that more people get involved in Green Me as well, and it helps so much and is so much stronger, and you're just able to achieve a lot more and stay motivated and focused. And absolutely right. All right, then question number 2. If you could change one thing in Berlin within the next 24 hours, what would that be?
Oh my God, really, really tough question. 24 hours, what would I change?
Yeah, if you could be the superhero of Berlin right now.
Yeah, everybody is getting like this love drink, I think. Because I think if you're not so negative and if you're like full of love, then like you wouldn't do a lot of things.
Absolutely. Oh my God, I love this. I want to have I want to spread the love drink. I think this is one of the biggest issues in the world. I think is that everything is fear-based, and our society is so fear-based, which is inflicted through so many things, through the constant negative news that people just soak in all the time, and everything, all the big problems actually in the world are based on either fear or anger. Absolutely. And if there would be just more love, self-love, but also love for each other, and
I think it sounds super cheesy, and I probably would have never said that, but I think like every single thing I was thinking of is like just because of somebody that has like fear of something.
It's true.
So the only thing is like really what's the solution is like you just be nice like to people. Because if you be nice, like I always also learning when you also have sometimes like issues being like nice, but because somebody's like really not nice to you in that moment and you're just like being still nice, they change. It's like so crazy, like how you can see that in their faces. They're like, why is she nice to me now? I don't get it. And then it's like you have a super good experience also for yourself, because you don't feel like, oh shit, I should have like been nicer to that guy. He's like not the actually problem to it, you know.
Absolutely. I had like tons and tons of experiences like this. So we could probably do a whole episode on just that, but we're going to slowly wrap it up. So question number 3 is, what question should I have asked you but didn't?
Actually, we talked about it quite a lot. And I mentioned probably more than I actually mentioned on most of the other interviews. So one thing is like that you can also like come to our place and like book us for catering and have a good time, like also celebrate your birthday at our place. We're super open to all connections, every ideas. Like you can also write us if you just like think we can improve something. It's also super important to us. We also, when somebody's like having some issues at our place, we're super honest about this. Just reach out to us, like even come to our shop and tell us, hey, this is something I didn't like so much. And you can do maybe this and that. We really try to improve ourselves. We're not perfect. We're not trying to be perfect, but we just want that every customer who comes to us is like super satisfied.
I think this is amazing. This is something that I really sense a lot when I come into the store, and like you're just always there and you just really ask for feedback, and you're just really open for it and wanting to, of course, just to improve. And how is the best is if you, of course, do it all together with the people who also who eat your dumplings.
Because if you don't know that we're doing something wrong, then it's, but you can also tell us that we do everything right. That's not a problem as well.
Exactly. That's what people sometimes forget.
Positive feedback. No, but it's
are there any like are you on any platforms like where people can review or something?
Google.
True.
And then we also have Foursquare, TripAdvisor, and all this, because if you just write us like, hey, this is something that was really nice, this is something you should focus a little bit more on it, super good, because then we just can make we can make it better together.
Love it. All right, final question. If there was one thing that you could pass on to the listeners, to the Green Me community, one final thing, one message, one shout out, what would it be?
That you can really start small. If you have this is like what I try every day is if I find a mistake or something that doesn't go really well, I try to improve it, and that I'm trying to listen more to it, because I didn't listen for a really, really long time. I have this feeling.
Yeah, important skill. Yeah.
And then you just like, yeah, but it doesn't bother me. But actually, if it comes up more often, just listen to it, and maybe you can improve it for yourself. And if you feel like more people have an issue with it, maybe you just want to conquer it. And then like great ideas start that way. Yeah, it just has to come, just listen to yourself. Don't listen to the hype. Just, you know, if you're not into sustainability, then maybe it's not your thing, you know? But you can like still focus on other things that are like,
and you can still do something good.
Yeah, it's just also like really important. Like we try to conquer like the food waste, and a lot of things come with it. But we cannot change everything, and we really try to have like a strong focus on this food waste issue, and try to be as ecological, really hard word, as possible.
Yeah.
And don't be like overwhelmed that you have to change from one day everything. It didn't come with us. It's just like you just, when you buy something new for us, it's like always think, do I need it, or is there something more sustainable for it? Man, sometimes there is not. Then you know, then it is like this.
Yeah.
But if you if you just try like a bit, just be nice to people. This is like really
there it all comes together
first
again.
Start and it just be open, talk, communicate. I think this
True.
is
So much truth in all of this. Anna, thank you so much for your time and just for being like super open and just chatting here with me and getting excited about what is actually possible. And I mean, as I said, like I'm really happy and grateful that you guys are here in the city and that we have the chance to work with you guys so often and just to make something happen here in the city. And yeah, I'm really grateful that we could finally also make this episode happen and this interview. And yeah, thanks so much.
anytime.
Awesome. Bam.